Welcome to Edenic Intimacy with your hosts, Adam and Eve. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It is morning here.
Yes.
Might not be morning while you're listening to this, though.
No, but it's morning for us.
It is. So, what are we going over today?
Well, intimacy in relationships and dating.
What you were never told.
Oh, yeah. Like there's a secret file they never share with you when you're single.
Yep. So, maybe you were told a lot of things. We were definitely told a lot of things before and during our dating time.
And we assumed some stuff
And
too.
we assumed some stuff.
Right. So it's not like we were just doing everything that we were told, but we assumed some stuff. That's how the human brain works. It fills in the blanks.
Right. So today we want to cover how much intimacy is too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a question every, I would say, Christian couple would ask themselves while dating. There's a lot of Facebook posts on it. There's a lot of YouTube videos. How much is too much? What you shouldn't do. We want to talk about what we were told and kind of how our thinking and why our thinking shifted along the way, and some of the things we discovered in the process.
And remember, this is always about our story, our perspective. This is not us saying, follow our footsteps and do this, and you're going to be happy for the rest of your life. This is take God with you, talk to Him every day, and let Him fill your intimacy bucket completely.
Yes. All right, so I think I'll start because I want to talk about what my perspective on intimacy and dating used to be. And that goes way back to when I was a teenager. And I guess I got into a little bit of the, I don't know, you guys are probably, a lot of you are probably familiar with the Duggar family, the 19 Kids and Counting, that whole movement. And I thought that was the coolest thing. You know, you have if somebody's interested in you, have them go to your dad, and they sit down, and you always have a chaperone with you when you're dating, and you don't hold hands until, you're absolutely dating and you want to marry this person, and then you never kiss until you get married. And I thought that was just the highest form of the way to do things and the way to honor God. Because in the show, that's kind of how it's portrayed. It's like, hey, we want to honor God. This is the way we're doing it. This is the best way to do it. And it's like, oh, well, I want to honor God, so that must be the way I should do it. And so for a lot of years, that's kind of how my thinking was. And then, well, I can get into how my perspective changed because I think it changed before you did. But maybe you could go over a little bit of.
Well, there's the one classic sermon story, and it definitely influenced me. But the preacher's up front, and he's preaching, and he looks out in the audience, and there's a young man with his arm around a girl, and he says, "Do you intend to marry her, son?" And he goes, "Oh, I know." And then the pastor goes, "Well, why do you have your arm around another man's wife?" And I think that definitely shaped some of my thinking, like, whoa, okay, hands off here. Well, I better be careful. And it came from a respectful family, like just running around and doing whatever you wanted to do was not something we did on any level. And so it definitely had an influence on, be careful what you do in intimacy.
Mm-hmm. So before I met this man here, my husband, my now husband, but before I met him, I would say in my early 20s, my perspective started to shift. I think through a couple of books I read was one way. Oh, another thing before that change happened, another thing that really shaped my perspective was the book I Kissed Dating Goodbye.
Oh, every good person has to have that in their bookshelf.
Yeah, a lot of people used to think that. And then it's interesting how now the person who wrote that book has actually completely thrown it out, their philosophies, and it has, I think, left Christianity even at this point, which is very sad. And I think just because some of their views were wrong.
Doesn't mean all of their views were wrong, actually.
Right. And I think it's sad that they ended up losing their faith altogether because of it. But that being said, so the Duggar Family Show, and some of those that sort of strain of different books and things out there from people in those same circles, and then also that book, I'd Kiss Dating Goodbye, that really shaped my perspective. Well, then as time went on, I started to read some other things, and I just was getting older and thinking, along lines of how is this going to look for me in my relationships and what I want? Studying it out in the Bible for myself as well. It's like, wait a second, there's nothing in the Bible that says thou shalt not kiss before you're married. We've got Jacob kissed Rachel, and some may say, yeah, maybe it was a kiss on the cheek or something. But yeah, there's this show of affection or intimacy.
Well, I like kissing you on the cheek and we're married.
Right.
Like that, just because it's a peck on the cheek doesn't mean there isn't intimacy involved in that too.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think for me, starting to study it out and be like, what does the Bible say on this? Is this just something people have told me or I've accepted from a certain group in society? Or is this something that actually is biblical? And not really finding anything in the Bible that there's so many rules involved in all of that. And those specific rules are not found in the Bible. And so I started to think, well, what is it that God requires of us? What does He require of me? And then I also started to think about, I think what really got me was this whole idea of, man, if I've got to kiss the guy on my wedding day and have sex with him for the first time on my wedding day, that's a lot to trying to figure all that out on the same day. And you would be kissing them in front of a whole group of people. And so that I think was a big thing for me. Like, I don't see anything in God's word that says this is wrong to kiss somebody before I'm married to them. And so I don't know that I want personally to put myself through that. Like, great for people who want to do that, or it's great for them and it's their personal conviction, that's fine. But for myself, I really think, and so I started to think I want to at least maybe the couple days before the wedding have a practice kiss or something,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wait until the day of in front of the whole group of people and try to figure out how to kiss this guy that I'm marrying. And at this point, I wasn't in a relationship. There were guys I liked or whatever, but I was not in a relationship or dating anyone.
Mm.
But then as I started to morph my thinking in that way, I started to realize, just hold on a second, like as we're dating someone, we're growing with them, we're building all these levels, we're getting to know them better, we're sharing more as we go deeper in. And by the time we know we're engaged and want to be married to them, like we've built this whole emotional intimacy with them. We've built this whole level of intellectual intimacy with them. And I started to think, why shouldn't we build those same levels of physical intimacy? Is it right for all of that to just suddenly start right when you get married?
Wham.
Wham, and suddenly you have to figure it all out. Or should we be building at each stage and level of intimacy that corresponds with the other levels of intimacy? So no, you don't want to have sex with somebody the first day you meet them or hold their hands or kiss them. At least I don't want to do that. And I don't think that would be biblical or even a good idea if you're trying to build something lasting. But also you should be building some of these different levels. This is another thing that kind of changed my mind too, was the idea of when people, they're just friendly, outgoing people. And so all different people they know and have friendships with, they're going to put their hand on their arm or be like, oh, hey, how are you? Put an arm around their shoulders. And now suddenly they're dating a girl and they're like trying to keep 3 feet away from her.
Mm-hmm.
How is that showing that she's someone now more special to you than your other friends? Like there needs to be something distinct and special and more that you give to her than you would give to the other people, you know. So all of these thoughts as I'm in my early 20s are going through my mind, and I'm just kind of starting to think, you know, I want something that is built over time and grows over time with this person I'm going to marry. And so that once we come to our wedding day and our engagement, our wedding, and our marriage, we have a foundation already built.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how my thinking changed. And
Yeah.
then what about you? How did it change?
Well, it's interesting because I guess we're a composite of our life experiences in so many ways. And when I was in my early 20s, I was engaged, and that
Not to me.
not to you, no, not to you. And that fell apart. That engagement fell apart, and we broke up. And I, physical intimacy was very minimum in that relationship. And in hindsight, I'm grateful for that. In hindsight, I also get to look back and go, that relationship maybe had some other issues, right? And so
Was that a choice that both of you made in that relationship?
no,
For you or?
it was more her.
Okay.
More her. Yep. Yep. It was not a mutual breakup, if that makes sense.
Or no, I meant like to
Or-
not have
Oh, it was
intimacy.
so the physical intimacy part. It was mutual. It was mutual. Yep. But as I look back at that, I say for that time and place, for where I was, for where she was, I think I think it was certainly appropriate, and it didn't hurt or harm either one of us in the long run, in the grand scheme of things. As we'll get into later in today's episode, communication is vital. And so there was a lot of maybe things we were like, oh yeah, this is what we'll do, but we weren't actually communicating on a lot of things. And intimacy would have been one of those things. We weren't really communicating. We were just trading one-liners like, yeah, let's wait to kiss till we get married, but not understanding the function of the why or the hows of things. And it sounded good, right? Yeah. It can be a cultural thing, church thing, the group you're with, or things like that. And as time progressed, I had some other relationships that really never went too far in terms of long-term dating, but there were some other breakups and things. And at the end of the day, what I ended up with is I would say a complex, calloused system to protect myself and from emotional or physical rejection, you could say. And so it's a lot easier if you keep someone at arm's length, physically, emotionally. It protects you while you're hurting.
Yeah.
While you're longing for intimacy, you keep yourself in this cage of protection. And so for me, that became, I would say, a pivotal changing point, is recognizing that I was holding everybody at arm's length a lot of the time, or conversely, I was held at arm's length sometimes as well by people. And physical affection should be not a tool, but given freely in terms of intimacy, right? It's not a bargaining chip. Shouldn't be in a dating relationship, and it shouldn't be in marriage. And those underlying principles are what really started to reshape my focus, I would say, in many ways. And then there was a second visit that we had together in person.
Yeah. So he had come out to visit me, and then in return, I went to visit him. And this was after we talked for a while through texting and video calls.
Because we were partway across the country from each other.
Yep. And so then it was kind of the next step, hey, come out and visit. And then I went out to, you came into my world, and then I went out to see your world.
You came into my world, which is huge. We'll have to do another talk on that. It's too involved with too many multifacets, right? I'll try not to get distracted.
Okay, so
But
what?
boy, you distract me sometimes. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
I love you.
What happened on that section?
So we were talking about a lot of different things, but one of them was talking some about the idea of like kissing, and would you wait to and we weren't specifically talking about us getting married. This was just general conversation, two fun-loving people talking, and kind of like two people eyeing each other up in a duel, right? Like
Out each other's values.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's the one who asked you. I was like, hey, so what do you think about like would you ever kiss someone before you were married? I think was what I was. I don't know if I was speaking from that or
You might have.
but I definitely asked because I wanted to know what your views were on. I wanted to know if we were to get in a relationship because we weren't at the time. We were just getting to know each other. But I wanted to know if we were to, like, I was okay with waiting if my significant other wanted to until marriage. I didn't feel it was my view specifically, but to honor them, I would have done it. I guess I just wanted to know what it would look like if we were to get together.
And then I started laying out my long saga of why I, it was kind of like, well, maybe engagement or marriage, but like I wasn't in no hurry to kiss before then. And I laid out my reasoning why, and part of it I've already gone over, but a major part of it was the insecurity of what the other person's going to do in response from some of my previous relationships. And it was just a safer course.
If we start kissing, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, well, I think I might have launched off in response of like, well, I don't believe in sex before marriage, and
kissing might lead there.
And given some of the interactions that I had in the past, I laid those out and kind of built my case. And I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said some very key things to me.
I think I shared a lot of what my perspective was that I've just shared. Like, I believe there should be levels of intimacy that match where you are in the relationship. If you're just unsure about a person, you're just getting to know them, there's no reason to be at a high level of physical intimacy with them. But if you're starting to be in a like an official relationship, there's someone special to you, you're moving forward on a path together. Engagement, especially, I didn't see any reason you couldn't hold hands or kiss each other or kind of start to build some of that intimacy with each other. And then I also assured you that my view was I didn't want to have sex before marriage either. I wanted that to be something special for the commitment of marriage. And I think that kind of, you were like, oh, wow.
Right. Because in some past instances, there had been not between us, but other relationships, there had been comments made like, "Boy, how are we gonna not have sex before marriage?" Like it's some of these things. Yeah, it's kind of like this. You're doomed to fate because there's this attraction, and I'm attracted to you, and you're turning me on, and oh boy, we're never gonna make it. And in my mind, it was always a no-brainer. It's like, no, that just isn't something I want to do, and so no, it's not going to happen. And so to have a counterpart in the opposite gender express the same desire, and in a way not just to say it as a rote, but knowing that it was coming from the bottom of your heart, it created safety, and that was amazing. And that allowed all sorts of things to start to, I would say, soften in my exoskeleton that I had built to keep myself safe.
Yeah. And I remember you sitting there going, oh, well, yeah, I mean, if both people have that same goal of, saving themselves the sexual intimacy for marriage, I guess, yeah, maybe those people could have
safely kiss before marriage.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting because I got to see that shift specifically happen for you before we were in an official relationship.
And I'll just put another plug in here. We were communicating.
Right. So I don't know, maybe we should do that first and then.
Now let's go back to some of the taboos.
So eventually took some time, but we can go over our story in more depth another time, but we eventually became an official couple, and
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
we had laid a lot of groundwork before that. We had hashed out a lot of our values and different things, so it wasn't like we met and started dating right away.
Oh no, there was a lot of.
We had become best friends before that. We had gone over a lot of these topics. We had talked a lot. We had spent time together in each other's worlds. So I think that's kind of key. We didn't meet online, have a date, and start officially dating.
Right, we had a foundation.
Right. So once we had talked about these things, that communication, we knew what both of our goals were. And so
We'd actually broken up and kind of gone our separate ways even before dating. So like there was some history in there.
I should say before an official
An
relationship.
official relationship.
We
right?
would go out together. We spent a lot of time
But we
just
were
the two of us.
But we were not exclusive in any way, shape,
No.
or form, and we both knew that. You know, we both were attracted. We both liked each other, but we were not exclusive.
Correct.
Even if maybe one of us kind of wanted to be or something, or the thought was there.
We were
So
building it and seeing if it could go somewhere.
exactly.
But once we both knew that, this is what we want, then we started our official relationship.
Exactly.
So at that point, I think it was 3 days in, right?
Mm-hmm.
We started our relationship on a Friday. We had our first kiss
Sunday.
So on the next Sunday, and it was the first kiss for both of us. Neither of us had kissed anyone else before that, and that's something I'm very thankful for. So
beautiful.
Just because I believed it was okay to kiss somebody that you were just in a relationship with didn't mean I was going around just kissing guys that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
That it was something special, and it was something that had to be built on a foundation.
We get to look back and we go, wow, what a treat to, both of us are, could have had plenty of opportunity in life to kiss plenty of other people, right? So it wasn't a matter of like, oh, we just never had the opportunity. Let's jump on it now. It was very intentional, very much, I want to kiss you, and you wanted to kiss me. And
we had a foundation.
Yeah.
And we both had that mutual respect for each other and for those mutual goals that we had together. So, however, that being said, we were very comfortable with each other then at that point. We would kiss, we would hold hands, I would rub your back sometimes.
Oh, what that got us some words of wisdom.
Some warning, I guess. So there were people in our lives, and godly mentors are a very good thing.
Absolutely.
And not to be disrespectful to them. I think it's good to take into account the things older.
They have their journey. They have lived life.
Correct. And so I just want to touch on, because I think a lot of people come from a certain mentality or mindset and then they project that out. And so
well, sweetheart, we've even talked as now being married, right, and having full access to all the backstage intimacy. We might look at things a little different now too, but neither of us had been backstage intimate before marriage or before dating. So we had a unique opportunity where some couples don't have that, right? Because one or both of them are coming from previous situations or relationships where there's been full intimacy on all levels. And that maybe, I'm not an expert on that department, only God can guide, and they'd have to answer that question, but maybe that can change levels of what can be comfortably done without it being a problem of them violating other things that are very important to them.
Right. So what were some of the things we heard during this time?
You know what kissing leads to? Well, I'd heard that all my life.
I'd heard that all my life as well, but it was definitely reiterated when people saw how affectionate we were with each other. And we weren't just hanging off each other fairs with young kids or young couples at the fair.
We weren't groping each other. Exactly. You were very, very specific with me, and sometimes when I'd hug you and inadvertently touch some of your chest, you're like, you didn't like that. You didn't want
Meaning
that.
to, but
I wasn't meaning to.
I was always going to let you know, hey, that's watch what your hand is doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little too close to me.
I wasn't rubbing your butt or
No.
squeezing things or so it wasn't we weren't that lovesick couple just lopping all over each
We
other.
did make out.
Oh yeah, we did.
You eventually told me you had to come up for air every now and again.
Ooh, yeah.
So that was kind of fun. New for me, and kissing was fun. It was a
We
technical
should do
thing
a we should do a whole podcast on just kissing. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Anyway, because like I said, neither of us had kissed anyone else before. We were just figuring it out together, which was really special.
And there's a lot of sensation and a lot of wow, and it was special.
Very special. It was fun. But I remember hearing, you know what kissing leads to? That's a big one. I remember reading a Facebook post, and it was just some Christian group, or I think it was a pastor who wrote it or something, and I didn't know them. You know, you see just random things on Facebook. But just some Christian pastor put out, here are the rules of courtship, I think is what it was. And it had a whole list of things. Here's the things you can do. You can hold hands, I think it said. You can do this. You can read together, read the Bible, study, pray, talk a lot. So all these good positive things you should do together as a couple. And then it had a list of don't do this. Like, don't sit in the same bed together. Don't go under blankets together. And then on that list was French kissing. Like, that's taboo. Don't French kiss.
But kissing in general.
I think that was an accepted. In this post, that was accepted.
Okay.
Whatever community this came from, that was accepted.
But no French kissing.
No French kissing. Well, we had figured out French kissing, and we kind of liked it. And then I think at one point, we had some people visiting us, and they maybe saw how not in front of them, but at one point when we were in the evening later, and we thought everyone was in bed or something, and we were out on the porch, and we had a little makeout session. I think that might have gotten seen. And I think there were some horrified people the next day that, you guys are acting like you're married. That's what I heard. You shouldn't be acting like you're married. Well, to us, we weren't. Like we said, there was a lot of respect for each other's bodies, for the swimsuit zones, you know? No, we never touched in those areas. We were, but very affectionate otherwise, at a level that we felt matched our level of commitment to each other at that point.